The antenna holder is glued in, and I hot glued the Dragon Link receiver right there on that side. I want to put the weight there to offset where I didn't get this centered. It's more on this side than that side, plus the airspeed sensors right here on this side. The airspeed tube is on that same side, so just for kicks and grins I put the receiver over there to try to offset a little bit of that weight. You know, I really think this is down to software tuning now.
And wouldn't you know it, as soon as I started working on the plane and the software part of the tuning again, I ran into a problem. And that problem's right here. See the battery current? It's just sitting there. It's doing nothing. 131 amps sitting there? No, 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 no. That just isn't possible. And actually, it doesn't change when I run the motor up or anything. So this morning, I hooked up the Sky Hunter. So here's the Sky Hunter connected via Dragon Link telemetry, and you can see its current right here. It seems to be fine. It's the same flight controller in both platforms. I'm going to force it to arm here, and then I'm going to run up the motor just a bit to show you right here. The current sensor seems to work in the Sky Hunter. And of course, it fail-safed on battery, but that's neither here nor there. Let me get out of this, disarm it, and let's get that return to launch off of there, because I don't want it to. It does have the prop on right now, so it would give me some decent current readings. But the Sky Hunter works, and the Mini Talon doesn't. It's the same flight controller, essentially connected in the same fashion. There's differences in them. The Mini Talon's a V-tail, but not much other differences technically in them. But I just can't get the current sensor to work right in the Mini Talon. And I'm afraid that was the flight controller that had the broken USB on it.
So now I'm wondering if that F765 wing right there got damaged. I put a little USB pigtail on it, on the broken USB, because, whoops, yeah, it's not really on there exceedingly well. When I flashed it with the current firmware yesterday, maybe it didn't get a good flash. I don't know. I actually ran the Sky Hunter perimeters in Ardu onto it, and it just doesn't work like the other one at all. So I'm going to try to reflash it and see if I just didn't get a good flash yesterday or what. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to have to remove it. And there's changes I will make if I remove it, but I don't want to remove it. I want to go forward. But I can't, because I'll be flying it without the cameras on it for the first time. And now I do have telemetry because of the Dragon Link So I'm not completely in the dark. And I don't know yet. I imagine OSD telemetry would still work without a camera. I'll investigate that later. But right now, I'm just going to try to reflash it and hope that I just got a bad flash yesterday to get that current sensor working properly. Trying to make a decision on what I'm going to do now. Always something.
Well, I flashed it brand new with the new firmware that came out today, 4.14, and I still have the problem. So I'm going to try one other thing real quick. I'm going to do like we used to do in computers, and I'm going to unplug everything and see if there's a particular component in here that's just sucking too much current. Now, in my humble opinion, if something was sucking 131 amps, there would be heat and smoke someplace, in my humble opinion. But that's the only way I know to move forward, and I'm still trying not to have to replace the darn thing.
Well, now you can see everything's unplugged except for the USB and technically the ESC underneath. Nothing's plugged into the board at all. Like I say, the USB and that ESC is still plugged in. You can hear it beeping.
And you can see with just the ESC plugged in, it's back at 131.78 amps. So somehow I have to get underneath there and unplug that ESC to see if that's it.
So now the ESC's unplugged. There is nothing plugged into this board right now except USB and battery power.
And there you can see nothing plugged into it at all, and it still thinks it's pulling 131 amps.
And there it is, pulled out of the mini Talon, sitting on my bench. It has USB plugged into it so I can get to it with Mission Planner and a battery. That is all.
And it still thinks it's pulling 131 amps. So I had no choice. I had to replace it. I might not do fast work sometimes, but I do good work. When I was in computer shops, some of the other technicians would just fix things so fast, send them out the door, and before the end of the day, they'd be right back in there with the same problem. Not me. I made sure everything was 100% before I passed it on to anybody else. So if you ever got computer work or whatever electronic work from me, you got good work. You could pretty much take it to the bank. So, very disappointing. I'm going to have to solder up another F765 wing and basically put it in the mini Talon. It's going to take me a while. So, all right. A little bit of a disappointment, but again, as long as I find out where the problem is and know how to proceed, that's cool. Uh, and I know exactly how I'm going to proceed here. So thank you very much, everyone, for all your help watching and all your prayers.